towards a very Indian system, which is not very good, or a very professional Western system, which is also not very good.
Absolutely.
So in essence, the effective system is to co-hold the P1, P2 positions.
Okay.
To co-hold, to bring, जो बुद्धा जो कहता है, middle path between the two. Is it making sense? And when you can, and I write in my book, when the Harvard and the Gurukul Varanasi come together, we create the Rajeshwari model.
Yes.
And that to me is the leadership that we need to take going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a really great thought. And that's what I thought. Let me clarify this to viewers as well. And the same understanding I got it when I was reading this. So going to the next, my most favorable topic, even not only in the related to the your book, of course, you have detailed discussion done around it on the chapter 10, which is talked about the women empowerment. So I like, and this is my one of the best topic, which even in my personal life, I feel it to people should talk about and really look at the practicality of it, how and where we are on that. And really want to continue in terms of awareness, at least in society, about still women's equality, discrimination is still a issue whoever you take it. And we talk about in leadership also, you will see that these talks will happen. But that interview which you have quoted, Indira Noy, I read in book. She is the ex Pepsi CEO. You quote that interview, right, where she was telling about how discrimination between man and women is deep rooted in our culture and society. So in today's era, when we talk about women empowerment and equality, can be justified unless it is not addressed at root level. What do you think?
Thank you, Tribhuvan. It's a very important topic for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
The World Economic Forum has said that we are about more than 100 years away from any equality. And when I talk to both men and women, they feel that our children will bring the change. But we were children once.
Yeah.
Our fathers were children once. Our grandparents were children once. And change never took place.
Yeah.
If you part away the issue and penetrate deeply into what is the root cause, as you say, then you have to agree that the root cause is patriarchy, which is being supported by the men as well as by the women.
Absolutely. That is the actually fundamental problem.
And in patriarchy, access and opportunity is not available as you would think. Even so-called access and opportunity seemingly of some cultures where women are in charge, etc. If you even penetrate that a little deeper, it is all smoke screens and curtains.
True.
Let me take this to the organizational world. You work for organizations and I have worked for organizations.
Yes, yes.
I believe that all the initiatives that we are taking is tokenism and symbolism and sans real action. We talk about the final rung on the ladder, which is the glass ceiling, and forget all the rungs before. For example, many women don't have access to, do not take certain classes and college and courses, because what's the use? I'll never get those jobs. When they take those courses and appear for interviews, they don't get the jobs and have to sit at home or when they enter the organization, they don't have a rung to step on because that rung is broken. They are pushed into labyrinths where they get lost. or they're taken to nice icy cliffs and thrown off the cliff so that they can fail. They have cold treatment across.
True.
And during moments when they need support, like in the case of pregnancy, in the case of marriage, in the case of transfer, those supporting processes are not there. So forget glass ceiling. Along the path to the glass ceiling is the road paved with thorns. Okay. And you know what, Tribhuvan? All these conversations we are having about Nar and Nari, male and female, actually is widening the chasm rather than resolving it. Because the more we talk about men are like this and women are like this, we are failing to understand that men and women are actually equally good in sports, equally good in running, equally good in so many things. And these are all social narratives.
Correct.
Ultimately, you know what, Tribhuvan? Let us talk about human beings who has got Nar and Nari. And we have in our Indic wisdom, we know that we must look at the feminine and the masculine qualities. So I've talked about the fact that we have to embrace our femininity and our masculinity. Now, one small thing I want to point out to you is because the literature is Western, the organization culture has also become very masculine. So no wonder women have to bang the table, appear bossy, and try to imitate men in order to be successful.
Correct. Absolutely.
So you can see at the organizational space how unequal it is. And if you look at society, it's also fairly unequal. For example, in your part of the world, Norway, men and women will go and wash dishes, clean the plates. Here in India, it is not expected for the man to be even asked.
That is that is the one of the challenge actually.
If he washes the dishes, he's doing you a favor.
Absolutely.
Because in India, just being born a male is being privileged.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
If you have a sister, she is second class because you are the male.
Absolutely. No doubt.
You don't have to earn your malehoodness.
Correct.
It is conferred on you. So these are some of the things I'm talking about, that we have to become aware that there is patriarchy in our world, and that has existed from Adam and Eve, Ram and Sita, and that needs to be explored.
Absolutely. And it's a issue. I would not say it's a issue. I feel it is a cultural problem, as you explain it, and digesting that thought is important. And here, as of now, if you look at even a corporate world, even in any other leadership forum, you will find these thoughts are just for a talk and just to give a glamour about we are working on it. But if you look at the challenges on the ground level, that cultural problems, if not addressed until then, I don't think we will able to achieve this. But that thing, I fully agree with you, unless until we are not, awareness is not there, people are not talking about it, people are not taking some initiative, until then we will not move ahead anywhere in this area. So fully agree with that.
There is hope, Tribhuvan, because as I have pointed out, it's tokenism and symbolism. But if you want to see real action, I have written in Spotlight the story of Renana Ben and Seva. 1.6 million women leaders.
Absolutely.
So that gives me hope.
That
you don't need to be a large corporate multinational. You have to, at the grassroots level, work with commitment.
Yes. Absolutely. So good. So moving to the next, since I thought I will give some benefit to my viewers as well, since you are with me on the forum. So since you have served as a CHRO, a long period, I would like to ask if you give some tips to the young leader, those who either aspiration to be a future leader or either they are already on that role. If you want to give some fair, I would say, and practical tips to those, that will be the great help.
So chapter 11 is the only chapter where I have given some advice. Most of my chapters, I've only explained the reality. But chapter 11 is focused on youth and is focused on giving advice to them. So I think my one advice is that, and I talked about Ritesh, and the first one is have a personal purpose. See, my personal purpose, Tribhuvan, is to walk in my own light and support others, discover and walk on theirs. So for young people like Ritesh himself, he wanted to create, inexpensive rooms. So every young person should very early in life ask the question, what is the purpose of my life?
Absolutely.
First. Yeah. The second one is that youth makes you feel very energized, like Abhimanyu. I will enter the Chakravyuh.
True.
But you also must know how to come out.
Yes.
So you must know your awqat.
Absolutely. True. We should know that where we stand actually.
So knowing your boundary, knowing your limitation, knowing your strength is very important. Not just have false bravado or false confidence. And third is that every young Indian is a Desi leader. So rather than pretend he is not Tribhuvan doing Hamlet, I would say that first he must remember that I am Tribhuvan and I am doing the Hamlet play.
Absolutely. If you will be with your originality, then that will make the difference actually. Whatever you do.
That will make the difference. And all the other traits of respecting elders, being spiritual, about working hard, about making the world a better place, all of the various values that we have learned from our elders, if we practice that, respect to the liftman, respect to the things around, sharing, all of these are the things that, and I'm not saying anything that we don't already know. I'm just saying be Indian and act Indian.
True. Good. So now, have you, as you taken the name of Ritesh Agarwal, there's another following question coming in my mind, because you have worked in all the culture and interacted with all these leaders. So, do you find any difference between the old age leadership as compared to the Ritesh Goyal? And I have seen that Gopinath, Suhas Gopinath. And if you take any international leader like Mark Zuckerberg, and these are the young leaders. So do you think, and one old age, if you look at Premji, Ratan Tata ji, Narayan Murthy sir, and these leaders in a different row. So what is the fundamental you see the spark in the new leaders, those which we are talking about?
I think that when we look at orientation, because we came from 200 years of colonial, for many, many years, for many of us, there was this whole approach about having a good job, building a career. Building a career. So we were very long-term oriented. And we did have a serving culture to serve an organization, etc., etc. And there were some people like Asim Premji and Ambani and the others who were very entrepreneurial in creating this family-like thing. The young people today feel very confident about wanting to start their own startup cultures. They are the Zuckerbergs of the world. And India has the greatest opportunity to be the next Facebook, Twitter, Google in the world. So if you're asking me for advice, one advice I would give is let all young men become family businesses rather than look for steady government job or steady multinational job.
True.
The reason being that if you look at India minus 200 years, 7,000 years, then what has been the Indian ethos? They were brilliant craftsmen, brilliant artisans, brilliant traders in the sea. They were all family businesses, and they were trading with different parts of the world. India and China were, the two richest countries in the world.
Yes.
So my view is that India is a young culture, a youthful place with a very ancient wisdom. I mean, imagine having young people with an ancient past. How blessed we are.
Absolutely true.
And this is the time for the golden chiriya. This is the time for the resurgence.
Yes.
This is the time for 1,000 flags to be flying. This is the time for Chakte India.
Absolutely. True. Absolutely. And I fully agree. And that is the reason I asked this question to you, so that people can understand, because you have a rich experience in human resource area. So I can understand, people can connect that. So the next, Steve, I was going through your website and I read a very fantastic quote there you have written. I know I am quoting it exactly what is mentioned there. I know you want to happy, and then you mention to fulfill happiness, you recommend 4 ideal aim: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So fundamentally, I fully agree with this thought. And would you like to little bit elaborations on this?
Of course, my pleasure. Yeah. So these 4 words is nothing but the Indic wisdom of the Purushartha. Yeah. So dharma, kama, artha, and then moksha, nirvana, whatever.
Yeah.
And dharma is the principles, not rules. Principles.
Yeah. Principle.
And the principles, depending on what station of life you are, what kind of a background you have, what is the circumstances in which you are. It also has certain principles around emergencies like the apadharma and so on. So dharma is really equity, not equality, because it says depending on context, you will do what it does. And dharma is actually misunderstood by most people.
Absolutely. True.
Okay. True. So we have a dharma which is around how to be a social being. We have a dharma about what it means to be the swadharma, of what it means to fulfill one's own obligation and rights. See, the Indic wisdom doesn't talk about rights, about your privileges. It talks about rights and responsibilities that you have to. It tells you about what to do for yourself. It tells you what to do as a social being. What to do with the inner self, what to do with the outer self, what to do with the primal needs versus what to do with the social needs. That is dharma. Now, unlike what people think, that India is a very nihilistic, very spiritual, very aesthetic, not at all. In the West, people say, what is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of life? In India, we know the meaning of life because we have got the 4 ashramas. Student stage, householder stage, and mentoring stage, and then finally going to the renunciation stage.
Correct.
So we know what the stages are, and in the stages we have got the 2nd and 3rd, which is artha, the science of commerce, and we have kama, the science of wealth and indulgence and pleasure.
Correct.
Including the Kama Sutra.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, so it is not that it is denying you all of these things.
Yeah.
Rather, it says that you must, through the Kama and the Artha, for keeping in mind the principles of Dharma, have a great materialist manifest life. But remember that you are heading towards the ultimate goal of moksha. freedom from rebirth, freedom from coming back over and over again. That is the ultimate philosophy. So the Purushartha is an age-old, timeless wisdom responding to the manifest level as well as the spiritual level. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, the last verse says, wherever there is a Arjuna on earth and a Krishna in heaven, the 4 rewards will be available to you. So so I've written some of it in my book, and this is well known to most people, so I don't elaborate more.
Yeah, I think it is enough to explain, because that I read it in your website when I was going through, and it really catch the things. And second, that is reality also. Even I read the many books of Vivekananda. There also they have touched upon in very detail in these all 4 factors basically.
Yes.
And that is the success of anyone's life.
Yes.
Great. Then I think we are dot timeline. So I would like to close. Otherwise, I would have liked to continue with you as long, but that time's neither your neither my time permits. So I would like to close this. Thank you so much, Steve, for having with me today in my channel. It's my pleasure to interact with you, and was really a great experience and learning from you. And also, I believe my viewers will get benefited with this talk in our channel. And I would request my viewers, if they have any queries or something, which I will pass on to you, so that at least you can address those queries if you would like. And it's once again, thank you so much, Steve. It was a great interactions, and it was a nice talking with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tripura. I enjoyed all your questions. I enjoyed talking about Indianness and the Indian leader. And I hope that all of us watching this video go and explore for themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
What is Indianness and what it means to have the Indian personal leadership.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.